Our presentation today is using virtual reality to enhance student success in the classroom. So our team is made up of members of the nursing department and the teaching and learning technologies. We've got Callie, LoraLynn, Ludo, and Andrew. So virtual reality, how can VR be beneficial for student success? In this session, you will learn how to utilize virtual reality in the classroom. The learner will be able to describe how using virtual reality can be applied in their individual courses. The learner will be able to demonstrate how virtual reality can be integrated into Canvas for grading.
When we talk about ensuring our student success through VR, this is a tool that can help our students to be able to practice hands-on skills in a way that is a lot more accessible than maybe in the traditional lab and classroom settings, whether it is due to limitations on access to specific types of equipment, time in the lab setting, or just general funding. When we looked at the start of this project, this came to be as a collaboration between nursing and the teaching and learning technologies departments to be able to create an exercise for better equitability for our nursing students in their health assessment course. There are certain skills that our students would have limited access to or availability in the clinical site, whether it's because of, again, equipment access, clinical experiences, or time in the lab setting. For example, this specific exercise was created because of a limitation with our clinical experiences. Every student goes to similar departments during clinical, but they might not be able to see the same types of patients. This exercise brought in what's called an electrocardiogram. So this is a diagnostic tool for cardiac patients that tells us about certain illnesses or things like a heart attack. And our students may be able to see some of these types of patients, but not every student is going to have the same experience. So with our VR tool here, our students are able to each practice an EKG and bring in the real life clinical application in a more controlled setting.
So integrating VR into Canvas. So the project was developing a process where learner performance could be integrated directly into Canvas as a part of their course grade. So once we decided which assignment we wanted to do and assigned point values, Andrew and Ludo from the teaching technologies took it from there. They built the VR portion of this assignment and how it would be integrated into Canvas grading.
At Teaching and Learning Technologies, we work with technology innovation, tools development, and tools administration. Specifically with this app, the VR app that we've helped create for the nursing department, we like to talk about that all of the grading can be done from within the VR app itself. And any Canvas course can have a VR app embedded into it. So we'd like to encourage other faculty that are interested to reach out to us. We have a little demonstration video. And you can see you can just log into Canvas as you would normally. You'll find your class and click on the whatever VR app you have, and then enter into VR. And once it loads, the instructions, and in this one they can pick up the electrodes, place them on the body into the correct positions that will be given them beforehand, so the student will know where to put each of the electrodes. And if you place them somewhere incorrectly and then submit it, then the electrode will reappear on the table. Final score. So on this one, we place 5 out of 10 in the correct position. You can see that electrode that we placed on the nose is back in the table. And then when we click next, it brings us to an assessment where we can look at rhythm and do a quiz style where we can find out which of the following pulse characteristics to expect. And then once we're finished, we can click the finish button, which will bring us to the logout screen on Canvas, and then the next student can take the headset and go.
When we originally presented the concept of this design to Andrew and Ludo in TLT, we had a couple of different ideas in mind. Within our program, we have a lot of different technologies and different resources for the students to practice, and they all have very similar goals when we're looking at use. We want things to be interactive. We've found that the more interactive we are with the students, the more they're able to retain a lot of these concepts, especially activities and interventions that are repetitive, that have a lot of muscle memory behind them, that are tied to the concept. With that, we also wanted this activity to be repeatable. We wanted the students to be able to come in and feel like they could practice this skill, be able to take what they learned into clinical practice, but also have a slightly different learning experience each time. And I'll show an example of what that looks like. One of the other components to this was to make sure that this software, the program itself, was intuitive to use. We have 30 students in each of our groups, and so it was really important that while we were getting things set up, while the students were using this equipment for the first time, that it was quick and easy to pick up. And each student, it took them about 5 minutes to get logged in and to be ready to go. And within just a few seconds of having this equipment on their hands and on their faces, like you can see in those initial pictures that we shared, they were ready to go. They were able to use the headset, use the handsets, and start this assignment without a lot of instruction beforehand. Within nursing as well, it's really important that all of our activities are tied to our theoretical concepts that we are teaching, so our didactic content, things that are happening in class. And so this activity, again, the example that we showed was cardiac related. So we wanted to be able to tie into the things that have been taught in this health assessment course that also solidified and reinforced concepts that had been taught in their previous courses as we build upon each concept as we go through the program. And so that was really important. And then being consistent with our other testing resources was also an important factor, as everything that we are teaching helps, again, to support the students as they're preparing for their state boards and preparing for clinical practice as registered nurses. Now, looking at what we were able to come up with after we turn this over to Andrew and Ludo, the interactivity is amazing. This is something where the students have a chance to place these electrodes anywhere on the body. Now they have specific areas, specific targets where they're supposed to go. So that's what will determine if they get them correct or not. But as you can see from the picture and as you saw in the demo video, we're able to place these wherever within reference to the human body, just like these students would do in clinical practice. And the program itself was designed to be able to tell the students, did they get them correct or not? But as you can see from the screenshot here, they have the option to try again. So the students can go for 10 out of 10 if they would like to. We provided them with physical resources as far as the locations, the correct placement for these electrodes that they had for reference to be able to look at. That was outside of the scenario. They were able to look at this before they went in, test their knowledge. But if they get in there, they're frustrated, they're not able to figure out where these electrodes go, or they think they have it in the right place, but they're just struggling, we have the option built in for a hint or a reset. And these things were also very customizable that both Andrew and Ludo were able to help us do so that we could really meet these objectives that we were looking at with the design of this project. So if you hit the hint button, it comes up with little gray areas, little target areas that the students can then place those electrodes in. They still have to do them in the correct order, match the numbers or the letters that are on each of these electrodes to the right location, but it helps them to identify, hey, this is the area I'm shooting for. Now I just need to learn the order. And then when we look at the question here, this is just one of 2 examples of the questions that we have with the intent to build more. So these questions are very, very similar to what they see in class as well as in the course exams and their state board. They're situational questions where the student has to look and see what's going on with a patient in this scenario. Now I have to think about the application of what I am doing here beyond just I'm practicing the skill and I'm getting good at that skill. One of the other important aspects that we built in with Andrew and with Ludo was the grading customization. So we were able to identify how many points we wanted for these activities and how they were awarded. So did the student automatically get all the full points for the exercise, or was each correct electrode worth a certain number of points? Was each correct question worth a certain number of points? Once we were able to determine those factors, they were able to build that into the program, and as it was integrated with Canvas, it automatically reflexed that assignment and the grading of that assignment into the student's Canvas course. Because they each logged in individually, it was their individual grade. So as the instructor, we didn't have to go back in and grade their exercise, which is pretty unique with a lot of VR activities. Many of the different VR resources that are available for nursing specifically, these are outside applications that don't have a direct tie into Canvas, and so there's extra work that's required on the side of the instructor. But again, with this opportunity in this program that Andrea and Luda have been able to work with, again, it has direct integration to Canvas, which makes it very user-friendly on the instructors.
But at Teaching and Learning Technologies, at TLT, we want to increase innovation across campus by helping faculty use new technologies and ideas in their teaching. And if you would like to know more about what we do, you can look on the TLT website. And more about this nursing project, there's a story in the USU newspaper. And if you have any further questions, you can contact one of the following emails and we can get back to you on it.
In summary, this presentation, we wanted to demonstrate how we utilized virtual reality in the classroom, the practical application. We wanted to be able to describe how this can be applied to individual courses and how easy this is to be able to customize to your individual needs. And we wanted to also show how this was able to be integrated into Canvas for ease of grading and also for just amazing innovation compared to a lot of other tools that are available on the market. If you have any questions at all, you can reach us in the nursing department at the emails listed here on the page. Thank you for your time.